I think that, Howard, people ask me, like, what do you think is going on and what is the tension here? What's at stake? And there are many things, and I can be much more articulate than what I'm going to say. But ultimately, I do believe that this is an election that is about strength versus weakness,
Yeah.
and weakness as projected by someone who puts himself in front of the American people and does not have the strength to stand in defense of their needs, their dreams, their desires, um, the work that must happen to make sure that we are a secure nation, that we are nurturing and protecting our alliances around the world, that we are supporting America's military, that we are fighting to bring the cost of living down for working families, that we are building business.
You know what? I think the left just comes up with a bunch of bull crap so that their supporters can catch on to it because they don't think for themselves. Now, why in the world would Trump be afraid of koala? Trump not gonna show up because Trump is scared. Scared of what? The girl is a blubbering idiot. I have never heard her answer a question. The man asked her how her losing the race would affect racial tensions in the country. The girl started talking about Martin Luther King and opening doors.
Yes, Kamala fumbles into word salad after two simple questions. I saw that on the view, thinking she will adjust that. She went further, unable to respond to this. This is one of the reasons Democrat never wanted her to appear on podcasts or do interviews. When you take a look at this article, Vice President Kamala sought to distance herself from Biden, and Trump late Tuesday when asked if a potential Harris administration will represent change during an appearance on Stephen Colbert, the late show. When I saw that video, I just concluded that is who she is because after being criticized on social media, after the View interview, she still did the same thing here.
Polling shows that a lot of people, especially independent voters, really want this to be a change election, and that they tend to break for you in terms of thinking about change. You are a member of the President administration. Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I noticed.
And so that would be one change in terms of... But also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have aspirations, we have dreams, we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity and in that way grow the strength of our nation.
Yes, this is Kamala. When you look at what she said on The View, it's different. She said she is not Biden and she will not really change anything, implying that she will maintain what they have been doing for the past 4 years. Trump is using that clip as an ad right now. When you check everywhere, that is what Trump is using, with no addition of anything. Extremely tells you, oh Lord. Now here, Kamala is distancing herself to Biden and Trump and still doing the same thing without actually passing our point. A lot of people criticize her after these two interviews. When you take a look at this video, she is saying something like, this election is about strength and weakness. I don't know if Kamala is trying to portray that Trump is weak on this interview, because I've heard her say this several times. It is insane to even think of that. If they allowed Kamala to pass through what Trump went through the past few months, she will not be able to sit here and talk. She will be hiding somewhere. So I don't get the point. The kind of message she's trying to pass, talking about strength, until even trying to belittle Trump like he is weak. It is insane.
slogan of a new way forward. And she said today, we're going to stay on the same path, which is, I think everyone would admit, not a popular path. I mean, Biden has put some handcuffs on her. I mean, he has gone out last week and said, she helped me pass every law. She was part of every decision. I mean, he's making it difficult for her to get any separation. And then she has also, in the last few days, said Biden is totally with it, totally vouched for his mental acuity, and today says, yeah, I can't really think of anything that I would have done differently. This must be very confusing for American voters who must be thinking, then why are you running? Why isn't he running? If he's up to it and you wouldn't change anything, then why is Joe Biden not in this race right now? I thought, but who goes on The View and gets outsmarted, by the way? I mean, this was a total disaster for her today. I think even some of the friendly, non-traditional interviews have not turned out that well, but her contact with the mainstream media, I mean, the 60 Minutes interview, on issue after issue, I think did not really help her campaign. The immigration answers did not help her campaign, answering the question 3 times about whether they made the right decisions on the immigration changes that let the flood of people into the country. So I think the reason they're shying away from it is because often her rhetoric doesn't survive contact with the mainstream media.
Yes, considering the nature in which Biden was kicked out, I believe that Kamala is running away from these questions because of that. When you look at it clearly, even from interviews, the way Biden is responding, the man is still not happy the way he was kicked out. He believes that he's the only person that can beat Trump. Just imagine if Kamala doesn't win, Biden deep down would say this. I'm the only person that could do that. When I told him, you was okay, I should go. And I left the place. Look at the end result. So seeing Kamala doing this over and over clearly tells you something.
To spend every episode talking about January 6th. We'll talk about it if people want to bring it up. What's happening now with Kamala Harris is this is an experiment. Can you win a short campaign with an untested candidate? And what I'm telling you is happening in private polling is she's got a problem now. Okay? It's not cheering for Trump. It's not predicting Trump will win. She's got a problem. Please bring up the New York Times poll. So the New York Times poll shows her up 3 nationally. We all know that 3 is like the bubble point, right? If she's up 3, she's got a chance to win the electoral college, but they'd rather be at 4, and they don't want to be at 2. So 3 is right at the bubble. I'm not saying this Times poll is right. It's in line with other national polls. Now, bring up 102. Wall Street Journal has a story about Democrats really worried about the 3 Rust Belt states. We all know from our contacts in both campaigns that Pennsylvania is tough for her right now. And without Pennsylvania, there are paths, but there aren't many. There's no path without Wisconsin. So you see here, Tammy Baldwin's Senate campaign poll shows Harris down 3 in Wisconsin. We all said yesterday, Wisconsin and Michigan are looking worse for Harris than before. Baldwin has her down 3, not Baldwin has Harris down 3.
I mean, I don't agree with, but I get Comrade Kamala. I get that's what, she's a communist. But Tampon Tim, I'm not. He's a towel snap.
Lead. Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Molly, what do you make of that?
I'm surprised, frankly, that she doesn't have more to say about this, given that she and her campaign know that this is one of the main questions that voters have about her. And she's not very specific in laying that out, and she can't point to a decision she would have made differently, which, in an electorate that thinks that doesn't like the way this administration has led and that doesn't like the track that the country is on, that may not be a very satisfactory answer.
I mean, it's a